Imagine flipping through a cosmic family album, each page a snapshot of our distant ancestors, their lives, and the mysteries they left behind. Every photograph, every faded image, is a clue to who we are and where we come from. Let's travel back to the dawn of European history, to a time when the continent was a patchwork of wild forests, open plains, and small bands of people living off the land. For decades, scientists have passionately debated a fundamental question. Are modern Europeans the descendants of the ancient hunter-gatherers who roamed these lands for thousands of years? Or do their roots lie with the first farmers who migrated from the Near East, bringing with them new crops, animals, and ways of life? On one side of the debate is the idea of deep continuity, the belief that the cave painters of France and Spain, who left behind breathtaking images of bison and horses, are the direct ancestors of today's Europeans, their bloodlines stretching unbroken across millennia as they adapted to changing climates and landscapes. On the other side is a story of revolution, a dramatic transformation, as Neolithic farmers swept in from Anatolia, bringing not just new genes but entirely new ways of living. They cultivated the land, built permanent settlements, and introduced pottery, weaving, and domesticated animals, forever altering the fabric of European society and perhaps overwhelming the original hunter-gatherers. This debate wasn't just academic, it touched on questions of identity, belonging, and heritage. Who are we really? Are we the children of the wild, or the heirs of the plow? Archaeologists tried to answer these questions by piecing together clues from pottery shards, stone tools, and ancient bones. But the evidence was often circumstantial, open to interpretation, and left plenty of room for doubt. The bones themselves couldn't tell us if the people they belonged to were related to those who came before or after, or if they were part of a great migration or a slow, steady evolution. The biggest question, who are the true ancestors of modern Europeans, remained stubbornly unanswered, a mystery at the heart of our shared story. To solve it, we needed more than stones and bones. We needed a new kind of evidence, something that could reach across the ages and speak directly from the past. We needed a time machine, one small enough to look inside the very cells of the long dead, to read the genetic code written in their bones and teeth. And that's exactly what science would soon deliver. With the advent of ancient DNA analysis, researchers could finally unlock secrets that had been buried for thousands of years. The truth of our origins was waiting, locked in our DNA, ready to reveal the twists and turns of our ancient family tree. The family feud between hunters and farmers was about to be settled, not by legend or guesswork, but by the hard evidence hidden in our genes. Travel back 10,000 years to a Europe ruled by hunter-gatherers. These were Homo sapiens, curious, creative, and deeply connected to nature. They lived in small, mobile bands, surviving by tracking animals and gathering wild foods. Their tools were sophisticated, their art breathtaking, cave paintings that still awe us today. Life was harsh but rich, with close-knit groups sharing everything and passing down knowledge by firelight. Their world was wild, their senses razor-sharp, their survival dependent on cooperation. Genetic evidence like that from Cheddarman shows they likely had dark skin, dark hair, and blue eyes. For millennia, this was the only way to live in Europe, but change was coming. A new people and a new way of life were on the horizon. The age of the hunter-gatherer was about to end. Far to the southeast, in the Fertile Crescent, a revolution began: agriculture. People learned to plant seeds and herd animals, settling in permanent villages. Property, hierarchy, and new social roles emerged. Diets shifted to cereals like wheat and barley, supporting larger populations but often at the cost of health. Farming spread from Anatolia into Europe, following the Mediterranean and Danube routes. These pioneers weren't invaders, but they brought a world-changing idea. The old hunter-gatherer world would never be the same. The genetic and cultural landscape of Europe was about to be transformed. The farmers' arrival set the stage for a collision of worlds. The question remained, did the hunters become farmers, or were they replaced? The answer was hidden in their bones. For years the debate raged, hunters or farmers? Archaeology couldn't settle it. The breakthrough came with ancient DNA. DNA, the book of life, is our ancestral archive. Scientists once thought it impossible to recover DNA from ancient bones. Time and decay seemed to erase it. But new techniques changed everything. Ultra-clean labs, the discovery of the petrous bone, and powerful DNA sequencers made the impossible possible. Suddenly, we could read the genetic code of people dead for thousands of years. We could see who was related to whom and how populations changed. The whispers of the past became clear voices. The true story of Europe's origins was finally within reach. Ancient DNA would rewrite our history, the bones could finally speak, and what they said would surprise everyone. How does this genetic time machine work? It starts with a tiny sample of bone, often the petrous bone, carefully extracted and cleaned. Scientists unlock the ancient DNA, separating it from contaminating bacteria and fungi. Using modern DNA as bait, they fish out the human fragments. DNA sequencers read millions of short fragments, which computers then reassemble piece by piece. The result, a nearly complete ancient genome. By comparing these genomes to others, scientists can map migrations, mixing, and replacements. Each ancient genome reveals a chapter in Europe's story. The genetic puzzle of our past is finally being solved. With these tools, scientists sequenced the DNA of ancient hunter-gatherers and early farmers. The results were clear. The two groups were genetically distinct. Farming spread with people, not just ideas. The replacement theory was largely correct. Over time, some mixing occurred, but farmers' DNA became dominant. For a while it seemed Europe's ancestry was a simple two-way mix. But then, a mystery modern Europeans didn't match either group exactly. A third ancestral population was missing, a genetic ghost. This ghost appeared in Europe after 5,000 years ago, dramatically reshaping the gene pool. In some places, earlier farmer DNA was nearly erased. The story was no longer hunters versus farmers. A third tribe had entered the scene. The search for their identity began. The plot had thickened. The search led east to the Pontic-Caspian steppe. Here, the Yamnaya culture emerged, herders, wagon users, and bronze workers. When scientists sequenced Yamnaya DNA, they found the missing third ancestor. Around 5,000 years ago, Yamnaya people swept into Europe in a massive migration. In some regions, up to 3/4 of local ancestry was replaced in just a few generations. The migration was male-driven, as shown by Y chromosome evidence. The Yamnaya brought not just genes, but new technologies and likely new languages. This event reshaped Europe's genetic and cultural landscape. The last great prehistoric migration had arrived. The three-part ancestry of modern Europeans was complete. The continent would never be the same. Europe's story is a braid of three ancient peoples: hunter-gatherers, Anatolian farmers, and Yamnaya steppe herders. Over thousands of years, these groups met, mingled, and shaped the genetic foundation of the continent. Their journeys, struggles, and innovations are woven into the DNA of every European alive today, creating a living record of our shared origins. Every European today is a unique mix of these ancestries, a blend that reflects both ancient migrations and more recent histories. No two people are exactly alike, yet all carry echoes of these distant ancestors. The proportions vary. Sardinians, for example, have more farmer DNA, preserving a genetic legacy from the first agriculturalists who settled the Mediterranean islands. In contrast, Northern Europeans carry more steppe ancestry, a reminder of the Yamnaya herders who swept across the continent. Yet, everywhere, traces of the earliest hunter-gatherers remain, connecting us to the first humans who called Europe home. This hunter-gatherer DNA is a faint echo of the deep past, a whisper from a time before cities, kingdoms, or borders. This genetic tapestry replaces old myths of purity and isolation, challenging the idea that any group has always been the same. Instead, it reveals a story of constant mixing, adaptation, and renewal, a story written in the bloodlines of millions. The Yamnaya migration also explains the spread of Indo-European languages, connecting Europe to India and showing how ideas as well as genes have always traveled across continents. Our DNA reveals a shared heritage that transcends borders, languages, and even centuries of conflict. The French, Germans, and Spanish are not timeless entities but ever-changing communities shaped by waves of newcomers and shifting identities. They are products of ancient migrations, their cultures and languages evolving with every new arrival and encounter. Europe has always been a continent of immigrants, a crossroads where people, ideas, and traditions meet and transform. Our genes tell a story of movement, encounter, and change, a story that continues to unfold with every generation. The real European identity is one of diversity and connection, a celebration of differences and shared roots. Our past is more tangled and more fascinating than we ever imagined. To be European is to be part of a living, evolving mosaic, shaped by countless journeys and encounters across time. Why does this matter? Why should we care about bones that are thousands of years old? Because ancient DNA tells the grand story of our species. It's a story that spans continents and millennia, revealing the intricate tapestry of human existence. It reveals that we are all travelers, our DNA a living history book. Each of us carries a piece of this vast narrative, connecting us to our ancestors and to each other. Human history is not about static races but about constant movement and mixing. Our ancestors moved, mingled, and merged, creating the diverse world we see today. Myths of purity fall away. We are all mixtures, and that's beautiful. This diversity is our strength, a testament to our shared journey. The real story is one of flux. Peoples replaced, absorbed, and transformed over millennia. Civilizations rose and fell, but the human spirit endured, adapting and evolving. This knowledge brings humility and wonder. It reminds us of our small place in the vast expanse of time and space. The hunters, farmers, and steppe riders were people like us, dreaming, struggling, adapting. Their lives, though distant, mirror our own in many ways. By uncovering their stories, we connect with them and honor their legacy. We learn from their triumphs and mistakes, gaining insights into our own lives. We are the custodians of their genetic inheritance. This legacy is a gift, a link that binds generations. Ancient DNA is a mirror reflecting our past and guiding our future. It shows us where we come from and helps us understand where we might be headed. Migration and mixing are the engines of human history. They drive innovation, foster resilience, and create the rich tapestry of cultures we celebrate today. We are stardust, and the living legacy of ancient bones. Our past is written in our DNA, and it continues to shape our future.